Welcome viewers! Today I'm going to talk about my experience with this Amiga compatible monitor. Well, mostly compatible monitor. I wanted a new monitor that I could buy today that supports 15 kHz with warranty and use for all my Amiga 1200 needs. I use my Amigas mainly with RTG, but there are times where I want to play with the occasional VHD load game. Before purchase, I was on the fence about getting a scan doubler for the Amiga. But that makes little sense in the long run, since I will probably get the Flamethrower 32 for the PiStorm when it's released. I have previously owned an InDivision AGA, which was great, but I do not think that piece of hardware is worth its price, and in my use case, I do use two separate Amiga computers, so an internal scan doubler for me was a no-go. The monitor in question is a Dell SE2725HM. This is a 27-inch 1080p monitor with a 100 Hz refresh rate and between 5 to 8 milliseconds of response time. Contrary to what the specs says, it does work pretty well with 15 kHz. The monitor was found thanks to the great resource, be warned, I will butcher this name, Myrahisi, linked in the description. This page is based on an earlier 15 kHz wiki. Here it lists different monitors and their ability to work with 15 kHz. I got it narrowed down to the Dell SE2725H or DHM, based on picking a monitor based on the production year and current availability. This monitor was what I needed. A monitor with an analog input and a second HDMI for the Amiga RTG output. In order for this monitor to work with my Amigas, I needed a VGA cable and the 23-pin to 15-pin VGA adapter to plug into the Amiga. I found the monitor off a local reseller, and I knew I had an old Commodore 23-pin adapter somewhere in my stash, but uncertain where. So somehow I accidentally also ordered two 23 pins from amigastore.eu. When the monitor came, I started to test it out and was pleasantly surprised by its ability to upscale the picture. There was however a slight issue. Sometimes jail bars were visible, and due to my search when buying the monitor online, I knew an eBay seller named Axel 1871 sold an adapter with a vertical line remover feature. I did order one of those, and I'm happy to report that my issues mostly disappeared. So am I happy with this monitor? Well, yes, I am for the most part. In my use case, it does what I need it to do, and there is only the rare occasion where I have to switch from RTG to interlaced modes that it will not sync. The Dell monitor will not auto-switch inputs, but you can set up hotkeys on the screen button so that you can toggle modes quickly. Interlaced modes are not very useful as they flicker and have to be initialized from native screen modes. Trying to change directly from RTG to interlaced screen modes does not work. They will display if I run the workbench from native screen modes. NTSC interlaced screen modes will however never sync up on my monitor, so those modes, even though they probably would flicker, will not display at all. So before I let the last part of the video showcase a few Amiga VHD load games, I would like to say that there is actually only two interlaced games I wanted to play, and that is Agony and Total Chaos. They do play if launched from a native workbench, but will flicker. Mostly everything else ran fine, including demos. Even though I do not play that many VHD load games on a regular basis, I have tested a fair few of my favorites, and this screen really works for me. Also, please note that things do look more crisp in person. The focus on my camera is not state of the art. You will have to make a compromise here, but for a $100 screen, it is not that bad, and unless you deal with a lot of interlaced titles, you cannot go wrong with this screen in my opinion. There you have it. a short video where I try to explain my experience owning the Dell SE2725HM for a few months. Hope you found this somewhat useful, and bonus footage will continue. Thanks for watching, and until next time I bid you farewell.